Woo! What's going on? 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 What's happening, brothers? Ha ha! It's Sunday night. This is my first time. This is my first time going live on a Sunday evening. That's right. That's right. It is July the 25th, 2021. And I am here tonight, brothers. I hope you guys are doing well. We're just going to wait just for a little while to see who shows up in the chat. It's Sunday night. Oh, man, we are 3/4 through the summer of 2021. We are 3/4 through the summer of 2021. Before you know it, it's going to be fall. The changing of the seasons is going to set in, and we're going to be in a new mood. But until that happens, my brothers, until that happens, we got to talk. 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 I hope you guys, hey, Universal 178, I hope you guys have had an awesome weekend. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed this weekend. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I see you, Matt Tate. I see you, Matt Tate. I've had a great weekend, guys. I've had a great weekend. It's been a productive weekend. If you've seen my last uploads, hey guys, if you guys have seen my last uploads, if you haven't seen my last uploads, go check them out. They're very short uploads. But my last uploads kind of give you a feel of what my weekend has been like. What's up? What's up? What's up, Kaju Kwame? I see you in the house. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? What's going on? Yeah. My last uploads will give you a sense of what my weekend has been like. I'm gonna tell you, brother, I'm having the time of my life. Hey guys, I take my camera. I have a small camcorder. I'm gonna upgrade my camcorder. I have this. I have a Sony camcorder that I keep with me at. Well, I'm not gonna say at all times, but I've been traveling with my Sony camcorder a lot. I took it with me to Brazil. I took my Sony camcorder. I took my Sony camcorder to Brazil. Thank you, sir. Universal 178, peace God, peace God. I took my Sony camcorder to Brazil, and I took a whole bunch of footage, and I shared a lot of that stuff with you guys. But guys, I was in my home city. What's going on? I see you, Jamel of Scotland Net. I had my Sony camera, my Sony camcorder with me, which I'm going to upgrade. And I messed around and stumbled into this public concert and event right here in North Carolina where I live. I mean, this is an annual thing. It happens every summer. Every summer in downtown Winston-Salem. Every summer, they have a concert, or they have concerts rather, where you have performers that come out and perform in the public and everything, and the whole, city comes out. And some of the performers, they do blues, they do R&B, they do funk, they do rock, they do punk, they do a variety of genres, a variety of genres. And I messed around yesterday, guys. I messed around on yesterday and went downtown, and I had my camera. I was deliberate. I took my camera with me downtown. I took my camera with me downtown, brothers, and got me some good footage. The gynocracy, brothers, the gynocracy was out. The gynocracy was in full force. I mean, they're always in full force, man. If you have music, you have liquor, you have beer, you have wine, you got people, you have lots of energy, man. The gynocracy gonna be out there, man. The women go where the parties are. The women go where the parties are. I mean, I can't fault them for that, but the women go where the parties are, man. But you know what? I couldn't help but to notice and even to record everything that I saw. I saw the gynocracy, man, from different age levels. Now, most of the people that I saw, what's going on? Most of the people that I saw were over the age of 35. The vast majority of them were over the age of 35, but these are mostly women, man. Y'all go back and look at the videos, man. This is the gynocracy. This is what the gynocracy is today. I'm not gonna. I didn't do any commentary. I just posted. I gave y'all 2 videos, 2 uploads to see the gynocracy in full effect. One video showed you one generation, and the other video showed you the generation right below them. So we had like boomers in one generation, then we had Gen Xers, and the second video you had some of the younger people in there too, but most of those folks are kind of Gen Xers, millennials, and everything like that. What's going on is check out the gynocracy. Y'all check out the uploads, the gynocracy. The gynocrats. When the gynocrats come out to play, no men, brothers. No men were around. No men were around the gynocracy. No men. Kevin Samuels is right. When Kevin Samuels says that a lot of people, and in particular, a lot of women go die alone, Kevin Samuels is correct. He is absolutely right. He is that big, without men in their lives. You got these gynocrats who are out there. They in their 40s, they're in their 50s, 60s, hell, even in their 70s, man. Ain't no men around, all right? A lot of them, the most that they have right now, the very most that they have are their girlfriends or their sisters or their cousins, you know, or just other women. You know what I'm saying? And to be fair to them, you know, if they have other women who are going to be with them in their last days, so that they're not alone, that's not a bad thing. If they're going to live that golden girl lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? You know, I think, you know, it's a good thing to have people that you know around you. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is that you have generations of Afro-American women who have done a great job of alienated men. They have alienated and they have estranged men. They have pushed men away. They have created such a distance, a wall between themselves and men that they're going to be by themselves at the end of life. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, brothers. They're going to be by themselves. And I have my camera. I have my camcorder with me, guys. I have my camcorder and I filmed everything. And I said, okay, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when women exist in a manless world. No man's land. That's right. What's going on, here, brothers? That's right. No men. No men. No men. No men whatsoever. No men. Who wants to live that life, brothers? Who wants to live that life? I don't know how you do it. I could never be a woman. I don't want to be a woman. I could never imagine what it's like to live the life of a woman, particularly some of these women out here today. I could never imagine that. I can't imagine that, bro. I can't imagine that. All right. I'm not, No, 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 no. Let me tell you, no, 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 no. No. That's it, brothers. No man's land. You see what I'm saying? And so y'all go back and check out those videos of the gynocracy when the gynocracy comes out to play. And I got another video. I got another video that I'm gonna share with you all this week. I have another video on the gynocracy that I'm gonna share with you all this week. So I want y'all to pay attention for that. I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I did some work in Greensboro, and so I'm gonna share that stuff with you shortly. So y'all stay tuned for that. But look, brothers, I don't want to waste too much time. I don't want to waste too much time, guys. I want to talk about Kevin Samuels. I want to talk about Kevin Samuels. Black men and cancel culture. Cancel culture, and I'm calling cancel culture the idiocracy. The idiocracy, brothers. Cancel culture is the idiocracy. Kevin Samuels, black men, and cancel culture, and you can put it in parentheses, the idiocracy. That's what it is. This is Sunday Night Live, the idiocracy. And I'm going to start off with the idiocracy, bro. I'm going to start off with it. Brothers, I want to start off with the idiocracy. Brothers, cancel culture, I'm going to tell y'all something about cancel culture, brother. Cancel culture is a reflection. It is a reflection of the underdevelopment, the intellectual, the cognitive, or cerebral development of the United States. That's what cancel culture is. In the broad stroke, the broad umbrella things, it is the underdevelopment of the mind. Cancel culture reflects the anti-intellectualism, the irrationalism that permeates American society. That's what cancel culture is at the highest levels. That is, brothers, that we got a whole bunch of people in this society. We got a whole bunch of people, and it's not limited to a particular demographic. We have a whole bunch of people in this society who have cerebral deficits. They have cerebral deficits. These are people who cannot think, or people who refuse to think critically. These are people who reject all manner of logic. These are people who reject rationality. These are people who reject facts. They reject scientific facts. They reject social facts. They reject what we call in more advanced spaces empirical data. They reject empirical data. That's cancer. They reject empirical data. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Here's the thing, brothers. I'm going to get kind of base. I'm going to get very visceral with you guys. So y'all think about sex, right? You think about sex. You think about sex. We know, brothers. We know that wanton and unrestrained sexuality can expose you to a lot of stuff. Wanton, unrestricted sex can expose you to a lot of stuff. If you go out there and you are reckless, brothers, and you have sex with all sorts of women, you can get a woman pregnant. And you could possibly contract some type of STD or STI. You can get syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, or whatever. And you know that. But we have this science. We have a scientific thing. We have this scientific thing that has existed for almost 100 years, if not even more than 100 years, called a condom, a contraceptive. Lubrication. You got Trojans, you have lifestyles, you got all that kind of stuff, right? You have a technology that has been tested and proven to give you a buffer against unwanted pregnancies, a buffer against STIs, a buffer against STDs. The condom is a scientific product. It is a creation of science, been tested. But the idiocracy would dispute. The idiocracy would dispute and say that you don't need a condom. The idiocracy would say that we don't trust contraceptives. Now, I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to be fair. We know that condoms, there's a 90% effectiveness rate, or maybe 92, 93. All right. People slip up and all that kind of stuff. But the science, and I think if you have been out in the game, brothers, you all know that contraceptives are more effective than unprotected sexuality. Okay. What is the point I'm trying to make, brothers? The point I'm trying to make to you guys is that you have an idiocracy out there who think and who believe in hocus pocus. They believe in myths. They believe in fairy tales. They believe in stuff that has not been tested, okay? They believe in stuff that will lead to your demise and your destruction. That is the idiocracy. That's the idiocracy. The idiocracy, okay? All right? And so the idiocracy, the idiocracy that exists in American society refuses to exercise intelligence. And we see this at a variety of levels. So when Kevin Samuels goes on his platform, and I'm going to say this, y'all guys know this, that Kevin Samuels has been in this space. He's been in the manosphere for several years now. And when Kevin Samuels talks about those statistics about black men, middle-class black men, statistics about black men who are unmarried, who don't have any children, like myself, when he talks about those numbers, those numbers come from where? Somewhere. They have been derived from research. When Kevin Samuels started talking about the number of black children who are born outside of the bonds of matrimony, when Kevin Samuels talks about that, we have a 70%, damn near 80% rate of children. And here's the thing, a lot of those statistics don't cover everything, so there's a lot that's not reflected in statistics. But what we do know is that damn near 3/4 of black children, darn near 3/4 of black children that are born every day in the United States are born outside of marriage. Which means that black babies are being born because you have populations of black men and black women. This is a inconvenient truth, these are inconvenient facts. You have black men and black women who are having unprotected sex, who are unprepared to be parents, fathers and mothers. And they're not the only ones who are doing it. They're not the only ones who are doing it. But our stuff has been documented for generations. And you can't blame it on one population. You can't just look at black men and say, okay, black men are responsible for all this stuff. It takes two to tango, brothers. And here's the thing, here's the big enigma that people try to create around the number of black children who are born outside of the bonds of marriage. And what is that? And what is that kind of big enigma is that they're just that women somehow or another are not voluntary participants. Women somehow or another are not actively making decisions to have unprotected sex with black men. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. How is it that you have all these children being born in the face of more than 60 years of birth control? You have condoms, you have the pill, you have the patch, you have IUDs, okay? You have all sorts, you have Plan B, you got abstinence, you got all sorts of methods that exist that circumvent pregnancy, unwanted, unplanned pregnancy. Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this, brothers? I'm talking about this, brothers, is because we have people who are upset. We got people who are bothered. We got people who don't like the fact that Kevin Samuels is talking about these facts that are happening in Black society. In this space right here, brothers, we've talked about the Moynihan Report. It goes back 1965. You can read the Moynihan Report, 1965. I just put up an upload. Jason Whitlock, the sports journalist, the contrarian, the shock jock, he did a very, very provocative commentary on Maria Taylor and the Moynihan Report. Maria Taylor and the gynocracy, and how Maria Taylor, who was at ESPN, who's no longer at ESPN, who is now at NBC Sports, how Maria Taylor has benefited from a society that has catapulted the gynocracy into where it is today. And he wasn't wrong about that. We've been talking about the Moynihan Report in these spaces for years. And we've been talking about it because nobody else wants to talk about it. The academics don't want to talk about it. The politicians don't want to talk about it. The Moynihan Report was suppressed. The Moynihan Report was attacked. The Moynihan Report was ridiculed. It was called a sexist document. It was called patriarchal. The Moynihan Report was called an anti-Black female document. That was in 1965. 1965. You guys who never read the Moynihan Report, go back and read it. 1965. It was attacked because it said very direct things about family structures in Black society. And let me say this about the Moynihan Report, is that Patrick Moynihan, when that report came out, he was only looking at a small population. When Patrick Moynihan produced that report, he was employed by the Department of Labor. He was looking at migration. Patrick Moynihan was looking at what happened after Black people migrated. Here's the thing. Patrick Moynihan was looking at what happened to Black people after Black people migrated from the South to the Northeast. So when you read the Moynihan Report, he's talking about Newark and he's talking about Philadelphia. What he has in mind are the boroughs of New York City. That's what I'm saying. What he has in mind is Roxbury, Massachusetts, Boston. He's talking about Boston, Massachusetts. He's talking about what we understand as the Northeastern Corridor. So he's talking about a population of Black people who left the South. So here's the thing, brothers. So up until the 1950s, the vast majority of Black people lived in the South. They lived in the South. All right? But the demographics changed. The demographics changed with migration. And what happened with migration is that Black people had a very hard time dealing with the city and the urban problems of the city. And that's what happened. That's what the Moynihan Report reflects. Not only does the Moynihan Report harken back I got a troll up in here. I'm gonna have to give me some mods, brothers. I got a super troll up in this place, man. Not only does the Moynihan Report, I'm gonna have to get this chick up out of here. I'm gonna have to get you up out of here, homegirl. I don't know who you are. Goodbye. You gone. Not only does the Moynihan Report, reflect, brothers, migration, but the Moynihan Report was influenced by two scholars. W.E.B. Du Bois. There was we had a troll, man. I had to get rid of her, man. W.E.B. Du Bois and E. Franklin Frazier. W.E.B. Du Bois and E. Franklin Frazier. And both Du Bois and Frazier, they did studies on black people in the city. Black people in the city. Black people in urban areas. That was W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois did the Philadelphia Negro, which produced in the early part of the 20th century. Philadelphia Negro comes out around, you know, the dates somewhere in between 1920 and 1930, around that decade. And then it might have came out early. I got the don't quote me on the dates. I'm gonna have to go back for that date. But E. Franklin Frazier's book, classic book called The Negro Family in the Negro Family in the United States, that came out around 1940. So y'all go back and y'all look at those. Those are classic books in African American studies, brothers. Thank you, brother. 1910. That's W.E.B. Du Bois. So here's the thing. Moynihan comes around decades later. 1965, under the Johnson administration, and the Johnson administration wants him to study the condition of black folks. And Moynihan basically deals with black folks who are living in cities. He's not dealing with black people living in the South. So when you read the Moynihan Report, you're not reading about the condition of black people in where I am in North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Georgia, Texas, Louisiana. Okay, you're not dealing with all that. Okay, Florida. You're not dealing with black people in the South. Now, here's the thing: they attacked Moynihan for almost until the time he died. You know, Patrick Moynihan died in the early 2000s, and he was a big advocate for families. And for most of his career, he became a senator. He was a senator in New York, but his stance on the family was attacked throughout most of his career because feminists did not like everything he had to say. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this, brothers. I don't want to spend too much time. But the point I want to make about this is that Kevin Samuels is subject to cancel culture because Kevin Samuels plays with facts. He played with facts. He giving y'all some factual stuff. Everything he says, dealing with facts. All right. Now, this is the problem that black men have. This is the problem that we have with the black manosphere because the idiocracy is anti-intellectual. The idiocracy, brothers, is anti-intellectual. The idiocracy does not want the world to be properly informed, to be properly sophisticated around these issues, around marriage, around the production of children, procreation, around family, around income, what kind of incomes people truly make, what kind of incomes do men make at a variety of levels. What kind of incomes can you find with lower middle class men? What kind of incomes do you find with working class men? What kind of incomes do you find with middle class men, upper middle class men, up 1%? And you could do the same thing with women. What kind of incomes do you find with them? So here's the thing. I mean, people talk about black girl magic and all that kind of stuff, and how black women are so successful in doing everything. But the vast majority, here's the thing, brothers, the highest incomes, here's what Kevin Samuels is absolutely right. And it's not because he says it's right. This is just factually correct. The people in this country, if you earn a college degree, if you're on a college degree and your degree is in science, technology, engineering, and math, you have already put yourself on the track to make high incomes. If you do STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, if you do STEM, you will be placed on track for high incomes. And the vast majority of the Afro-American women who have college degrees, and I'll even include black men, but we're talking about black women, the vast majority of Afro-Americans, mainly women who have degrees, they do not have degrees in STEM. They don't have degrees in STEM. They are not highly represented among the doctors, the physicians of this country. They are not highly represented among the engineers of this country. Some of it has to do with numbers. We're only 13% of the population. Black women are 7% of the population. But even with that, we are not overrepresented in high income professions. So when you talk about women, black Afro-American women who make $100,000 and more, you're not talking about the vast majority of black women who have college degrees. That's not who you're talking about. And so the thing is that cancel culture cannot deal with facts. That's the problem with cancel culture. Cancel culture cannot, it is anti-intellectual. And that's why they attack us, because for a very long time, see, here's the thing, brothers. We have not had the stage. We have not had the floor. We have not had the voice. We have not had the opportunity to articulate our perspectives. I said this to you about 2 weeks ago. I did a stream about 2 weeks ago on a Friday night. And I talked about how when I was coming up in the 1990s, see, I'm 47. I'm going on, I will be 48, brothers. I will be 48 in September. And I'm gonna tell you something. I lived through the 1990s. I lived through the 1990s. All right. I lived through the era where black men, especially young black men, were on the receiving end of high levels of misandry or hatred towards black men. We were told that we were inferior. We were told that we were not good enough. We were told that we were reduced to poverty and all that kind of stuff. We got no respect. The culture did that. Professional, educated women, they were a part of that. They were a part of that, brothers. And if you were a part of my stream that I did about 2 weeks ago on a Friday night, I talked about how you were dismissed. If you were a black man, and I invoked Dr. T.S. you can talk to Dr. T.S. Johnson. Dr. Thunder was on my broadcast, my live at that particular time, and there were other brothers who were there. And they would tell you that we were dismissed. I was in my 20s, man, and I knew something was wrong. I was in my 20s. I was working on a college degree. I worked on a master's degree, a graduate degree, while I was working on a PhD. While I was working on a PhD, I had to deal with this toxic anti-black male ideology. And if you said anything that countered it, you were dismissed. You were written off. You were supposed to believe all of the hype around black men. That all of us are in jail, that all of us are impoverished, all of us are deadbeat dads, that all of us beat women, that all of us are savages and animals and everything like that. I was in my 20s having to contend with that. And I did not have YouTube. I did not have Instagram. I did not have Twitter. I did not have Facebook. I did not have anything, not just me, but other black men. We did not have anything to counteract that ideology that was directed towards us, that was supported by corporate media. NBC Report, NBC supported it. ABC supported it. CBS supported it. Cable television supported it. Hollywood supported it, all through the news. That's why I'm going to tell you guys, brothers. I'm going to tell you guys, I can't watch. I'm almost 50 years old. Some of you guys are younger. I appreciate you young guys. I want you young guys who are in your 20s right now, you young guys who are in your 20s and in your early 30s, I need y'all to pay attention because we trying to save y'all lives. That's the reason why we on YouTube. That's the reason why I'm on YouTube. We trying to save y'all lives so that y'all don't have to deal with the crap that we went through, all the toxic birth of a nation ideology that we dealt with. And so here was the thing, brothers. You had people get on TV and all they would do is talk about their personal experience. All they do. So here's the thing, brothers. You had women who would get on, they would get on Maury Povich. You had women that would get on Jerry Springer show. They would get on Ricky Lake. And they would just talk about their personal experience. They would just pillar us. And then you had the books and you had the movies. And here's what happened, brothers. Here's what happened. No facts, no fact. You couldn't question them. You can just get up there. You never got to question the single mothers. You never got to question, the woman who was involved with Pookie and Ray Ray and them. You never got to question her. She was out there. She was a co-conspirator with Pookie and them. Pookie and them was out there, slanging dope. Pookie was out there going from state to state, making money, transporting goods and drugs, and she was watching Pookie back and all that kind of stuff. She was holding Pookie money. She was doing all that kind of stuff. You never, and Pookie messed around and got killed. He got killed. He was driving. He went from Miami to Atlanta, and he went to Atlanta, and things went down between him and the Atlanta dope boys, and he lost his life. Or he traveled from Miami to Atlanta, got caught up in a transaction and got fed time and ended up spending 30 years in prison. He was convicted in 1992, 1993. He just got out of jail to 2018, 2019, 2017, doing fed time. And and here's the thing, brothers, you never got the other side. You never got to interrogate. You never got the whole story. You never got the whole story. So you got this single mother who raising these kids from a dope boy or what have you, and you let her tell it. She was just taking advantage of it, and she had nothing to do with how she found herself in her predicament. And so, brothers, here's the thing. Yes, they were killing us. They were killing us. They were killing us, brothers, in that particular era. So fast forward to today. These cancel culture people are dangerous. They're dangerous because they believe in censorship. They want to censor the voices of Black men. They don't want Black men to talk about their experiences. We are supposed to sit back and not talk about our side of things. We're supposed to sit back and not talk about our experience in the United States. Not just our experience in terms of how we interact with the opposite sex, Black women. Most of us interact with Black women. But I'm talking about our interactions with the rest of America. We're talking about how we deal with the employment sector. We're talking about the courts, the family courts, okay? We're talking about business. We're talking about economics. And our experience is radically different. I've said this to you before, brothers. I've said this to you before, brothers, is that the Black male experience in the United States, and I want y'all to get this, it is distinct, it is unique. There is no other male, no other population of men, rather, in this country who deals with what we deal with. Okay? The Latino men, they don't deal with the stuff we deal with. The Asian men, they don't deal with the stuff we deal with. And of course, most certainly, the white men don't deal with the stuff we deal with. Okay? They just don't. Our situation is unique, it is specific, it is different. And when it comes down to the Afro-American woman and female, when it comes to the Afro-American woman, female, our experience is different from her experience. What the Afro-American woman deals with, is very different from what the Afro-American man deals with. So white people, here's what it boils down to. White society deals with Afro-American women in a way that is radically different and distinct from how it deals with the Afro-American man, how it deals with Afro-American boys and male youth. We live in separate worlds. I told y'all in one of my last videos, y'all go back to one of my last videos. I went back, my last videos back in the fall. I said, well, not in the fall, but back this past spring, I did a video on Black Lives Matter. I did a video on those Black Lives Matter activists, and I said that she has nothing in common with us. She has absolutely nothing in common with us. Those middle class black women who go out there with those protest signs whenever a black man who gets killed. Some of those women are feminists. Some of those women are LGBTQ, and they out there pretending to care about black people, all right, and black men, all right. And a lot of those women, they live lily white lives. They live around white people, okay? They spend the bulk of their adult lives around white people, and they want to try to pretend as though they got some real solidarity with the black majority and black men in particular. And the reality is that they don't. We live in completely different domains, universes. We don't live in the same world. We don't live in the same world. And the reason why, here's the thing, and the reason why you have a lot of pushback against Kevin Samuels from certain women, and ain't all of them, not all the women are pushing back against Kevin Samuels. And let me clue some men. The reason why you got some pushback against some men, all right, because we don't live in the same world. We just don't live in the same world. The black female, the black Afro-American woman, she lives in a universe over here. And the Afro-American male, he lives in a universe over here, okay? And they can't get that, okay? And she doesn't understand. She lives over here. She has never been challenged. She has never been challenged in 50 years and 100 years and 400 years of black folks being in here. She has never been challenged to look at the world outside of her own experience. Never been challenged. And here's the thing, brothers. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that we need to understand. Here's the other thing. He said we can't afford to allow these people who censor or who attempt to censor black men. We can't afford to allow those people to have their way. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Cancel culture is whack. Cancel culture is whack. And the reason why cancel culture is whack is because it's about control. It's about domination. It's about controlling a narrative. It's about keeping people from being free. It's about putting people in jail, putting them in prison, putting them in a detention center. That's what cancel culture is all about. It's about controlling your mind and controlling your body. Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something. If you are a black person, you have no, he said, you have no business whatsoever supporting cancel culture. You have no business. If you are a black person, you have no business supporting cancel culture. Okay? Because there is no way for us to have create a space in this society, black people. There was no way for us to talk about politics. There was no way for us to talk about racism. There's no way for us to talk about the stuff that we deal with without challenging the people who have attempted historically to censor us. Let me tell y'all something, brothers. So the 1960s, y'all know Malcolm X, the 1960s, people talk about white supremacy. People talk about white supremacy and woke culture. Woke culture. Do you know who are the pioneers? Brothers, do you know who are the pioneers? Who are the originators of woke culture, wokeness? Black people. Black people are the pioneers. Black people are the originators of wokeness. The stuff that they call wokeness today is crap. It's nonsense. It's BS. It's BS. Do you know what woke culture is? Woke culture is Malcolm X. That's woke culture. Malcolm X. The autobiography of Malcolm X. That is woke culture. The autobiography of Malcolm X. What is that? Malcolm X, when he was living, Malcolm X said things to America that most Negroes were afraid to say. Malcolm X said things about white supremacy that scared the devil out of the majority of Black people. And not only did it scare the majority of Black people, it scared a lot of white people. Because when he was living, he was direct, he was in your face, he didn't bite his tongue, he called it how he saw it. He called it how he saw it, and he was willing to risk his life for what he witnessed. And he did lose his life. That's woke culture. That's woke. He called out the Negroes. Malcolm X called out the plantation Negroes, the people that we call sellouts. Malcolm X called them people out. He called out the liberals. Malcolm X called out the conservatives. Malcolm X called out everybody. He even called out the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X called out the Nation of Islam. And y'all know what happened when Malcolm X called out the Nation of Islam. When Malcolm X called out Elijah Muhammad for messing with young girls. When Malcolm X called out the leadership of the Nation of Islam for being silent and complicit with Elijah Muhammad. All right, Malcolm X found himself counseled for good. He was assassinated. He lost his life. But what's the point? You don't have no woke culture. You don't have no wokeness without Malcolm X. That's true. Malcolm X is true wokeness. You got wokeness with Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the end of his life. Martin Luther King Jr. at the end of his life, when he started talking about the Vietnam War, when Martin Luther King Jr. talked about the Vietnam War at the end of his life, and when Martin Luther King started talking about labor, when Martin Luther King was on the verge of leading a poor people's movement, when Martin Luther King Jr. was in Memphis, Tennessee, organizing sanitation workers, trying to raise the wages of sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee in 1968. When Martin Luther King Jr. was there in Memphis on the eve of the poor people's movement, Martin Luther King called people out. Martin Luther King personified what it means to be woke. Woke. And you're right, Abraham. Abraham is right too. Stokely Carmichael was there. Kwame Ture. And I'm gonna add Fannie Lou Hamer. Kwame Ture and Fannie Lou Hamer. Both of them, they spoke truth. They called it how they saw it during their times. They spoke facts. And what they did is that they push these people, the people who were really intent on censoring black people. Here's the thing, brothers. J. Edgar Hoover, y'all know who do y'all know who J. Edgar Hoover was? J. Edgar Hoover was the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover ran when Martin Luther King Jr., and back up, when Malcolm X was assassinated, and when Martin Luther King Jr. reached the end of his life during that time, you know, and during the whole era of civil rights, J. Edgar Hoover was the director. He ran the FBI. And J. Edgar Hoover was very intent on keeping the quote-unquote Negro silent. He did not want the Negro to talk about the United States. He did not want these black people. He shut down. So here's the thing. He shut down the Black Panthers. After Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, he shut down the Black Panther Party. He shut them down. Because the Black Panther Party, they was going against cancel culture. They was going against censorship. They were going against censorship, brothers. They were going against censorship. And here we are, decades later, how many people have benefited? How many people have benefited from the voices of Malcolm X, Kwame Ture, Fannie Lou Hamer, Martin Luther King? You got a James Baldwin. I haven't even talked about James Baldwin. I haven't even talked about James Baldwin. James Baldwin, he was one of the few black men who was not killed and murdered, but James Baldwin, y'all look at James Baldwin. And he supported, he was a gay man. James Baldwin, he didn't bite his tongue. He didn't bite his tongue. He laid out the facts as they were. James Baldwin called it as he saw it during his lifetime. And he was liked for a short period of time by liberals, but by the end of his life, he was in disfavor with the liberals. So what am I saying to you, brothers? What I'm saying to you is that black men need to push back against cancel culture. We need to push back. So this thing is bigger than Kevin Samuels. I'm trying to tell you guys that this thing is much bigger than Kevin Samuels. It's much bigger than Kevin Samuels. These cancel culture people, these anti-intellectual, anti-fact people, they want to restrict freedom. These people have a totalitarian, tyrannical mindset. They want to control everything. Okay? If you put the world, here's the thing, if you put the world in their hands, they will be no different from the world's worst dictators. The worst dictators in the world. The folks who are constantly canceling people, they are no different from the worst dictators that this world has ever seen. And I can rattle off, brothers. I can rattle off a whole host of dictators that have existed across history. I can talk about dictators in the 20th century. They're there. The dictators who will get you killed. They will take you out. You say stuff that you don't like, they will take you out before a firing squad and they will kill you. The dictators, they will take you, they will put you before a firing squad, and the fire squad will put them guns right there and they will kill you. They will throw you in prison. 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 They will destroy your family. They will destroy your livelihood. That's what the cancel. They're dictators. These are dictators. It don't matter what the gender is. It doesn't matter what their race is, their background is. So you got people who push this cancel culture. They're black, they're white, and back up. They're white, they're white, they're black, they're female, they're male, they're gay, they're lesbian, they're transgender, they're transgender, they're transgender, they're transgender. You've got these people from all stripes. They're Catholics, they're Protestants, hell, they're Muslims, they're Hindus. You got all these people from all stripes who, if you put the world into their hands, they will behave in tyrannical ways. They will behave in tyrannical. These people have a Napoleonic complex. They're like Napoleon. That's it. And I'm going to tell you this, brothers. I'm going to tell y'all this. So with Kevin, I have to laugh. I'm telling you, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to wrap this up shortly. I have to laugh, brothers, because here's the thing about Kevin. Everything that Kevin is saying right now is not new. It's not new. And he would tell you it's not new. Do you know how old the ideas are? Brothers, do you all know how old the ideas are that Kevin Samuels talks about? The ideas that Kevin Samuels talk about on his platform, they're older than Judaism. Those ideas are older than Judaism. They're older than Christianity. They're older than Islam. Those are ancient ideas. Kevin Samuels talking about the hierarchy of men and women and everything. You can go. I teach religion, brothers. I teach religion as a professional. You can look at Hinduism. You can look at Hinduism. Brahmanism, the Brahmins. Look at Hindus. The Hindus have a hierarchy. They have hierarchies, Brand, in terms of caste and status. But you have groups of people who are up here, and you have groups of people who are down here. And that whole hierarchy is shaped by divinity and revelation and scripture and all that kind of stuff. The caste system. Now he's not talking about a caste system. Kevin Samuels is talking about class. That's what people don't like. Kevin Samuels is talking about social class. Social class. Social class is very different from caste. Caste. A caste is what you are born into. You are born into privilege. You are born at the bottom, and it's understood. Your position is understood to be sanctioned by divinity. So if you were born into an upper caste, if you're an upper caste male, you don't marry people who are at the lower caste. You have an upper caste, you have a lower caste. You don't marry people who are at the lower caste. If I'm born into an upper caste family, I marry women who are upper caste. I marry women who are like me. If I'm born into an upper caste family, I don't typically marry lower caste. Because my religion tells me that it's an abomination. You don't do that. Because there is a moral distinction between those who are upper caste and those who are lower caste. Those who are upper caste are seen as holy and pure and sanctified, and those who are lower caste are seen as immoral and impure. But we live in America. We live in America, and Americans don't like to acknowledge the idea of caste. You know, we have a hard time with race. In the Hindu, that's about race and class, race and caste. And here's the thing: we have caste, we have classes. And here's the problem, brothers. The problem is that Kevin is talking about class. He's talking about class. And they don't like talking, they don't want to hear about that. They want it because class is very painful. So you tell a single mother, you tell a woman who's 30 years old, who has 2 kids, and she's never been married. 30 years old, she got 2 kids, and she's never been married. And you tell her that she does not have a chance. She does not have a chance getting with a man who has no kids, a man who makes more than her, a man who is a 6-figure income man. He can be 100, 200, 300, $400,000 a year. He can be, we're talking about the masters of the universe. And you tell her, the master of the universe, you're talking about a young Will Smith, a young Will Smith. I'm talking about Independence Day Will Smith, back in the 90s, before he married Jada Pinkett, and before his earlier marriages. We're talking about a young Will Smith. You actually think, now, even though he messed with Pepper and all that kind of stuff, you know, but you think that you're gonna get that kind of guy? You got 2 kids. That's not gonna happen. That's social class. So you got women who, you know, they mad because they're overweight. You got weight. Overweight women. And here's the thing that people don't want to deal with. They want to deal with it. So Kevin Samuels, he talks about the weight standard and the BMI, all that kind of stuff. And the reality is, brother, here's the thing, guys. This is social class. This is social class, guys. The further you go up in the socioeconomic ladder, the higher the standards are when it comes down to weight and body image. The standards get higher, bro. They get higher. Obesity, and this is not a hard and fact truth, but a lot of obesity is associated with your socioeconomic standing. Obesity is associated with class. Right now in America, class. That the more, if you're a female, a highly obese female is associated with lower class status. She's associated with low class, even the ones who are middle class. If you see a middle class black woman, 300, 400 pounds, she can have a PhD, but for people who don't know her, she's associated with low class status. The wealthy, the higher you go up, the greater are the demands in terms of image, body image, overall image. In particular, it's hard, it's painful to deal with. People don't like that, and that's why he gets a lot of pushback. In order to cancel Kevin Samuels, you have to cancel Judaism. You have to cancel Christianity. You got to cancel Islam. You got to cancel the Abrahamic religions. If you're going to cancel Kevin Samuels, you have to cancel the Abrahamic religions because all of the Abrahamic religions, in one way or another, they support distinctions between groups. They support hierarchies. Religion is hierarchical. People don't like talking about this. Yes, there are egalitarian elements in religion. There are humanitarian elements in religion. I study religion. I teach religion. Religion, in the classical sense of it, is extremely hierarchical. So even if you look at the Hebrew Bible, you look at the book of, you look at Samuel, look at the book of Kings, you look at the Davidic narratives, look at the Davidic narratives in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. Look at King Solomon. Look at King Solomon, the story of King Solomon, the son of David. King Solomon had hundreds of wives and concubines. He married into all sorts of families. He was a monarch. He was a king. That's it. So this high value or high status stuff, this stuff has roots in history. It's in religion. You look at the Islamic world right now. You look at Iran, Iraq, the so-called Middle East. Wherever Islam rules, wherever you have theocratic Islam, it's hierarchical. That's why Americans cannot go. Americans cannot go to Dubai. Americans cannot go to Saudi Arabia. Americans cannot go to Libya. Americans cannot go to Tunisia. Americans cannot go to Morocco. They cannot go to these places with the American mindset. They cannot go to Egypt with the American mindset. Because they'll get kicked out. They'll get sent back home. They'll go to jail. Because there's no gynocracy. There's no gynocracy in the Middle East. There is no gynocracy in the Middle East. And people don't like it, brothers. They don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like it. So Kevin Samuels is not saying anything new. You have to destroy. If you don't like Kevin Samuels, you need to destroy the churches in the United States. Destroy all the churches. Destroy the Southern Baptist churches. Destroy the Catholic churches. Destroy the Presbyterian churches. Destroy the Pentecostal churches. Destroy the holiness churches. Destroy the Methodist churches. If you don't like Kevin Samuels. If you don't like Kevin Samuels, you have to destroy Orthodox Judaism. You don't like Kevin Samuels, you have to destroy Orthodox Islam. Kevin Samuels is a Christian. He's a Christian. Kevin Samuels has conservative Christian ideas. He has conservative Christian ideas. When he talks about the household and the family, those are old ideas, Abrahamic ideas. Those ideas predated the Abrahamic religion. And what people don't like is that feminism has not been able to adequately replace the legacy of the Abrahamic religions. Feminism. You've got feminism and you have the Abrahamic religions. You got feminism and you have the older religions like Hinduism. And feminism has modified some of these traditions, but feminism has not been able to completely replace these traditions. That's why you have this thing of dying alone. Dying alone. Once you reject tradition, you are on your own. If you reject all aspects of traditional masculinity, If you reject all aspects of traditional femininity, you are on your own. Let me say it again. Once you reject all aspects of traditional, or at least most aspects of traditional masculinity, once you reject all or most aspects of traditional femininity, you are on your own. You are in a no man's land. For a man, you are in a no woman's land. But we're dealing with women, right? You are in a no man's land. Feminism gave these women a choice. Feminism gave these women a choice to reject traditional masculinity and traditional femininity. And they took the choice. And now they're in their 30s, mid-30s, they're in their 40s, in their 50s, and they have to live with the consequences of their choices. And the consequence, the fundamental consequence, is no man's land. Ain't no man trying to save them. Once you've disparaged masculinity, that's it. At every level. And that's it. So you have to cancel religion. If you go cancel someone like Kevin Samuels, hell, if you go cancel the Black Manosphere, that's what you got to cancel. But here's what I want to say, guys. You guys have to push back. He said Black men have to push back against the idiocracy. It is the idiocracy. Black men have to push back against the idiocracy, because if we allow the idiocracy to run rampant, we're going to find ourselves under a prison. The idiocracy don't want you to be free. The idiocracy does not want anyone to be a free human being. That's the idiocracy. And you have idiocrats all over the political spectrum. They're on the right, they're on the left. You got Joe Biden. Y'all see Joe Biden and the administration, they talking about misinformation. They're talking about misinformation, that they want to crack down. They want to crack down on social media. They want to crack down on Facebook. They want to crack down on Instagram. They want to crack down on all this. They want to crack down on YouTube. They want to crack down on everybody, because they have an aversion to free expression. They have an aversion towards free ideas. They want to be able to control narratives. That's why. These people pretend to like democracy. They pretend to believe in democracy. They pretend to be real liberals. And one of these days, I'm going to do a stream on liberalism, what liberalism really means. I used to call myself a liberal, brothers. I used to call myself 15 years ago, 15, 16, 17 years ago, I called myself a liberal. I stopped calling myself a liberal after I recognized how hypocritical and bogus so much of liberalism is in terms of how it expresses itself in the real world. I used to call myself a liberal. And one day I'm gonna do a stream on what real liberalism is. But what is called liberalism today is whack. It's not classical liberalism. It is not the liberalism of John Stuart Mill and Jeremy Bentham. It is not classical liberalism. And one day I'm gonna talk about what real liberalism is. But what today, this ain't no real liberalism. This is a bunch of people who are sheltered. You got a bunch of people who are sheltered. You got a whole bunch of people who are fragile. They are psychologically weak. They can't deal with adversity. They don't know what it's like to be challenged. They've been babied all their lives. They were raised in daycare centers. These are daycare. They were raised in daycare centers. Had to turn my lights on, guys. They were raised in daycare centers. And they fragile. There was a woman who was on social media, she called them suckers. It's a bunch of sucker stuff. There's a bunch of suckers out here. They soft. They weak and they soft. That's what it is. You got people that say it's some weak. You got a bunch of weak and soft people out here. That's all. Like I said, they weak and they soft. They are insensitive. They are super sensitive. You got to walk on eggshells. You got to walk on eggshells when you talk around these people. That's why I can't hang around. There are certain elements of the population that I stay away from. There are certain elements of the population that I stay away from, because you got to walk on eggshells whenever you're around them, because they soft, they weak, they are full of suckers. Let me tell you something. The black people who came along before 1980. Let me go back. The black people who came along before 1970, they were not suckers. If you were a black person and you became an adult before, like my mama's generation, my mother, she died in 2017. My mother was 31 years old when she had me, when she was, she was 31. My mother was 31 when she had me out in 1973. My mother didn't come from no sucker generation. My mother wasn't no sucker. And nobody in the family, they were suckers. They were not soft. They were not super sensitive. You did not have to walk on eggshells whenever you were around them. But we got a whole bunch of sucker folks around here. They suckers. It's a sucker culture. That's the idiocracy, brothers. That's the idiocracy. Where y'all at? What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for the super chats. Y'all hit the PayPal. Y'all hit the Cash App. I want to thank you, Kawaju Kwame, for your PayPal. Thank you, Dewan Hart, for your PayPal. Hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, brothers. Y'all know it. The Cash App is BMI. The Cash App is BMI 3000. BMI 3000. The PayPal, Ronald B. Neal. PayPal, Ronald B. Neal. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys tonight. I wanted to come on up in here, man, and talk about this. But you know what I'm going to do, brothers? Man, you know what? I'm going to put the link in the chat. I'm going to put this link in the chat. If you want to come on up. Holler at me if you guys want to come up for a brief moment. I'm not going to be up here too long. If you got something to say about this cancel culture, Kevin Samuels, and black men, yes, sir, yes, sir. What I want you guys to do is I want y'all to push back. I want you guys to push back. You push back. Do not accept this cancel culture. Don't accept it. Fight against it. This manosphere, this black manosphere, I've been telling y'all ever since y'all been watching me, and I've been a part of this space for years, man. As early as 2015, I was a spectator. I was a spectator in 2015, man, listening to so many of the guys who, you know, are so popular in this space, man. And the thing is that technology has given us. I'm not gonna stop saying. I'm gonna say it over and over again. Technology has given us the means to say things and do things, brothers. Technology has given us the means. Peace to you, my brother. Thank you for the cash out, for the super chat. I'm sorry. Thank you for the super chat, my brother. Technology has given us the means. Technology has given us the means to talk about our lives. It has given us the means, my brothers. People talk about whether or not YouTube is going to be around in another 5, 10 years. I don't even care. I don't care about whether YouTube is going to be here 5 years from now. Listen, but YouTube might start kicking people off the platform. I don't care about YouTube kicking people off the platform, because YouTube cannot destroy the internet. YouTube cannot destroy you, or rather, let me back up. YouTube is not the end of the internet. YouTube, my brothers, YouTube is not the end of the internet. The internet is permanent. The internet is here. It's not going anywhere. Okay? All right? All right? Smart people know that you don't want to mess around and try to destroy, the most important invention that's probably ever been created. The most important thing. The internet is the most important invention ever created by human beings. All right. You have writing. Writing is important, but the YouTube, not YouTube, but the internet is right up there with writing. The invention of writing, brother. Writing, the written word. Okay? It ain't going nowhere, which means that there will always be avenues and outlets for us, particularly Black men, to communicate with one another. There will always be avenues. There will always be outlets for us to do that. And we have to protect our freedom to express ourselves in this digital platform, in this arena right here. So I'm not afraid of cancel culture. I'm not afraid. Y'all see, that's why I show my face. Y'all see who I am. I show my face. You know what my name is. You know what my name is. I ain't afraid. And I'm invested in this thing. I'm invested in this thing because our voices are important. Our ability to talk to ourselves and our ability to go back and forth and to kick down these narratives, these toxic ideas about Black men, that is important. It's necessary. We have to do it. I got Mr. GG, Mr. GJ Zero Money in the house. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me loud and clear, sir?
Oh, man, I can hear you, man. Glad to have you, man. How you doing?
I am doing absolutely phenomenal, and thank you, man. I really appreciate you bringing me to the show. I'm a huge fan on your YouTube channel, man, and I set up here, man, and I was speaking in the chat that particular video, that Brazil video, man, went almost like super viral, like overnight. It was quick. You had like dads, fathers, uncles telling their nephews, sons that when they hit 16, get your passport and get the hell out of here and stop dating here. You can't take the United States or North America seriously anymore with these women. You can't. It's impossible. You know, those days of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, they are over. They're gone.
Done.
It's gone. And it's like you said, too, if the United States had imported 2 million women from, but you had so many people dying laughing when you said that. You said it would be done. It would be done.
That's it.
That
That's
was
it.
perfect. You said it would be done.
That's it. That's
And that's
it.
just
That's
a
it.
low number. That's a
It's
low
low.
number. 2 million is just a low number. You're being
It's,
conservative with that number.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what you
But
got
no,
on topics? Yes, sir.
but on the topic, I wanted to tell you, this is what I was telling people. I was on another live talking about this. You know, there was a bunch of women ranting about Kevin Samuels because I was on his 1 million subscriber celebration that just happened Friday. 1 million subscribers, okay? And this is what I was trying to bring to a lot of feministic women out here and single moms who was against him, right? You know, that you have to understand if a man got 1 million subscribers, what can you say? And you got testimonials of actual women and men calling him, thanking him, you know, thank you for saving my relationships, or thank you for changing my way of thinking, you know, or young girls calling in 21, 22, 19, whatever.
That's right.
Thank you. We really appreciate you for helping us. My mom is single. My aunties got a bunch of kids by a bunch of kids' daddies telling me, don't worry about no man. To worry about my education, all that crap. Yeah. And the thing is that what I told them was this. I said, you guys sat up here and talk bad on us for 50 plus years. I listen, I'm a little younger than you, but I remember the days of Ricky Lake and Geraldo and all that, man. They was talking, man, they was going in on us. Right. Now the time has changed. Enough is enough. Yes, brothers and sat up here and sat back on the seats, let y'all get that off. Now it's time for us to go ahead and grab the microphone, grab the camera, and take action. Grab the passport. We grabbed the passport and took action, okay?
That's it.
The passport and took action.
That's it. That's it. That's
so yeah,
it.
but that's what I wanted to say about it. And we're gonna get a lot of more women trying to cancel this man, but I don't think he's going nowhere because there's too many platforms out there this man can get on. You know, too many.
Too many. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. You know, I mean, I'm not worried about him getting canceled, man, because right now, man, I mean, you know, the way technology is, and I think that a lot of people, here's the other thing is that I think we underestimate the intelligence of a good number of folks out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I see now that there are a lot of women. I mean, he's got women, again, as you indicated, there are women who are on that side, you know what I mean? And so it's forcing a lot of folks to say, you know what, you know, we need to take some stands against this stuff, this censorship and everything, and that's what helps, man. In addition to all the technologies that continue to come on the scene and all that kind of stuff, and so I mean, I'm just fascinated watching how this stuff unfolds, and so. You know, like I say, our voices, YouTube can fall off tomorrow. YouTube can kick all of us off this thing who are making content. It can do that tomorrow, but it's not going to stop our voices. It's not going to stop the movement. The movement will continue despite, you know what I mean, one tech company's effort to silence us, man. So it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. That's it. I went to Taylor the Fiend's channel, and he had a lot of women on TikTok crying, man, begging, wondering why men will not approach them anymore. Men won't approach women anymore. In all of North America and the UK, we just won't. And it all boils down to, like I said before, and I said it again, the Bill Cosby case triggered a lot of things. When he released that thing actually, the Me Too movement, it crippled the Me Too movement. It's still here, but it weakened it. It crippled them a whole lot, like it did. And number one, and number two, guys don't want to be put in the positions to actually be Me Too.
No, they don't.
We can listen. One thing we always talked about in the Black passport community is the POAs, right? The pickup artist community, right? And the dating coach community, because brothers is getting their passports and not spending money with these guys anymore, talking about you got to have game. But yet, these are the same guys, they're not realizing that if you walk up to a woman nowadays, she can make up any false allegation that she wants to. You know, anything. And I remember when I was listening to you and Attorney Dennis Sperling, when you was on live with Attorney Dennis Sperling. And he was talking about one day how, like, a woman right now, right, no matter if she's from overseas or locally, can go in the bathroom, literally punch herself in the face, right? I'm paraphrasing everything he's saying. Punch herself in the face. She walk out of that bathroom. You in there minding your own business. She call on her cell phone, call the police and say he did it.
That's right.
No evidence or anything. He did it. He did it. And who do you think they're going to arrest? Who do you think they're going to believe? They're going to believe her, and they're going to arrest you, brother.
Yep.
Wake up out here, man.
That's why I said you go to these functions. Like I told you, man, I was at a function last night, and these women, they dancing by themselves. You know what I'm saying? They doing the cha-cha slide, and they doing the dip, and they doing the butt and everything. All these old dances from the 90s and 80s, all by themselves. You know what I'm saying? You might have some boys, their nephews or some guys, you know, hanging around or whatever, but everybody else, you know what I'm saying, the grown men who are about their stuff, man, those guys are staying away, man. And that's all over the country, man. It's all over the country. The nightclub scene, you walk in the bars, you walk in the restaurants, Friday night, Saturday night, bunches of women sitting by themselves, sitting at the, you know, at the bar, you know, sipping on their drinks or whatever, and ain't nobody trying to holler at them. Nobody trying to holler at them. Okay?
I'm trying to tell you.
They've created a world where it's too risky. It is too risky for brothers to do what they did back in the past. And the brothers just choose to do other things. And you're right, brothers, the brothers in the passport communities, we just jump on the plane. And that's it.
Yeah.
And we go. That's it.
Hey, it's like Master Teacher said on this chat, he got a sound effect that every time they hear any type of complaint or a woman talking back or anybody who calls in and talks about it, you know what he does? He does a sound effect that says, ew. Yeah, I mean, because they listen, it boiled down to what you said before. There's consequence for every decision they made. They said for years, I don't need a man. I'm independent, okay? Well, we're going to countries where women need a man, want a man, and appreciate a man, and respect a man. All of it, okay? With no catches attached. All right? No catches attached. That's feminine, compliant, non-argumentative, cooperative, right? Non-disagreeable. This is where we're going. So you guys can stay here and be independent if you want to.
I told you when I went to Brazil, I said there was no gender war in Rio de Janeiro. No gender war in Brazil. It wasn't no cancel culture in Brazil. Okay, I mean, you can walk up to a woman and be nice and polite and whatever, and she return the niceness and the politeness right back to you. No stank-faced attitudes and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, and again, I don't say that the women are perfect over there or whatever, but hell, they damn sure better than what we experience over here. I'm gonna tell you that straight up and down.
Man, I played your message out loud on Bluetooth in my vehicle. We got people in traffic, man, looking like, who's that dude spitting that knowledge, man? Who's that? Like, for real. Yeah, because when you said it opened everything up, you gave like brothers who was like, man, you know, having problems in their relationship, hope. Like hope. He said, I opened everything up. And he said the rat race did not exist.
That's right.
No Section 8, no public housing, no food stamps, no unemployment, EBT, all that stuff was gone.
That's it. That is it.
And I play that stuff a lot, man. I play that stuff, man, like 5, 10, 15 times, man.
There you go.
I love it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming through and supporting the channel and everything. And man, keep pushing the message, man. And we got to, you know, get these brothers to wrap their minds, their heads around black men's independence, black men's agency, black men's empowerment. You know that, I mean, this is our time. You know what I mean, to assert ourselves and We just have to throw up 2 middle fingers to cancel culture, bro. That's it.
That's all we can do. We even got the Pookies and the Ray Rays, right? The Johnnies and the Chads. They are getting pissed off at us that we are getting our passports. They should be thinking right now, well, shoot, with abundance mindset, well, go. More women for us.
There you go.
But you would think so, but now they got a scarcity mindset because we're leaving them with the hippopotamuses, the women that are 30 and 40 that look grandmotherly. I mean, we're leaving them with them. What's the problem?
No. Yeah, and that's why, I mean, this is good, and that's what we're doing, man. We're raising black men's standards, raising their level of expectations in terms of, you know, how they deal with the world and their lives and all of that, man. You know, getting the money up, improving, you know, the overall quality of their lives, man. You know what I mean? And breaking away from these old tired ass, you know, traditions and practices that we have lived with for so long, man. You know, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna bring another brother up in here.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Brother
you.
Dwayne Trades.
Yes, sir. What's going on, doctor? What's
happening, man? How you doing?
Hey, everything's well on this side, man. Coming at you from North Carolina, fellow
Yes,
North
sir.
Carolinian.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, my man's he coming in spitting facts, man. You know, that passport is definitely the key. Black men need to explore their options a lot more. We already know what we're dealing with, but I just kind of want to jump on to the cancel culture topic.
Yeah.
Now, we see how cancel culture has been weaponized, even in politics, right? We see how that worked out, and it's done a hell of a job. And so we see it permeating now through the Black community. And now we've accepted it, and we're using it as a weapon as well. I mean, well, not we per se, but you start to see it, man. Yeah, you see it. Like, what kind of Black man would petition against Kevin Samuels along with the Black women that are against your interests? Like, why? What's behind the psychosis of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just shows you the conditioning and from the liberal left. Like, why are we using their tactics against each other, against brothers who are in our best interest, such as Kevin Samuels? And I agree with you. I think the solution is the technology. This platform that we're speaking on right now is a tool we should use to push back, because they cannot stop the internet. This has been placed in front of us for a reason. For us to gain this information, we're able to see everything that we couldn't see decades before. We're able to see how women really think. We're able to see what's going on in the news, how the propaganda has been oppressing Black men and kind of keeping Black men marginalized. So now we got platforms and we got content creators such as you, Doc. We got we got a lot of people. We got the Black Manosphere, all types of stuff that's actually pushing back a different our truth, and that's what needs to get out.
That's right.
That's exactly what needs to get out.
No, absolutely. And the thing is that, and I alluded to this earlier, is that, you know, the liberal solution has not worked. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of what we're pushing, is that, you know, I mean, we're not doing better than, you know, Black folks who came before us 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got a bunch of symbolism and all that kind of stuff. And the fact is, man, you know, you have to be a Black person who's just, you know, not looking to paying attention, you know, to not recognize that there's something wrong. You know what I mean? You know, why, man, we both in North Carolina, man. You can travel in any city in North Carolina or any other state where you find a Black majority, and particularly at a certain level, man, when you talk about the working class Blacks or whatever, and you can see the decline. You know what I'm saying? We all see the decline, and a lot of that decline has to do with these strategies that just no longer work. You know what I mean? And we rejected hard-won wisdom that our parents had, and we see the consequences of it right now. You know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate.
And that's funny you say that, the generation gap is real in the Black community. You know, you start to see where the gen, I don't even know the gens now, but you know, you got the boomers, and I think what was after the boomers, was it Gen X?
Yeah, Gen X, my generation, Gen X.
Got it. Now, you know, you obviously an anomaly for the most when it comes to Black Gen X. But for the most, that generation,
that's a compliment. That's a compliment to me.
Definitely. Because for the most, they have been the ones to keep shoving that liberal mindset down the throats of the youth. They're the ones that say, hey, they the ones that's working the polls, that's saying, hey, you need to be voting straight ticket this, you need to be doing that. You hell nah, we hate I guess I can say Trump on this platform. I don't know if they'll flag it, you know, because of the cancel culture, but you know, it's like they're not challenging the youth to think and to use facts, to understand policies, to educate themselves on stuff. And I think, and I told a buddy of mine this, who is actually from North Carolina too. You know, he went to Central, and we have conversations all the time about this. And I said, the main problem is that Black people as a whole, we're not a monolith. So everybody got their different views, but we haven't come across a common, like we haven't accurately identified the common issue that we all have. And we haven't created a consensus on that. So since we haven't identified that problem yet, we don't have a solution for a practical solution. And that's where we're at. And we're still at this stalemate when it comes to that. And at this point, it's like, man, you know, the rubber has to meet the road, and we got to figure something out. If not, I'm like my man, Mr. GG said, passport gang. And like you say, Doc, BMI. That's all we can do.
There you go. There you go.
There it is.
We got G Serotonin in the house. What's going on, brother? Holler at us.
Hey, how you brothers doing today?
All right, man. How are you?
You know, man, just out here working as usual, you know. Something we gotta do every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, yeah. What you got for us, brother?
I'd like to say first salute. This is my first time up on your panel. I appreciate you letting me come up here.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say, what I listened to earlier, it was appalling, man. Like, I don't know if you guys are speaking on that totally, but it was appalling what I heard earlier, man. And these last couple years, and as you was talking, brother, we the millennials. My generation, we call millennials.
Yes,
and then
sir.
the ones after us is called the
That's
what is
right,
they called? The generation under us. It's the millennials, and then it's the zennials. Yeah, no, the zennials. So yeah, man, like I've been doing a lot of studying and reading, and a lot of this stuff started with the baby boomers, man. Like I don't know what them people did wrong or what type of look they put down, but them baby boomers, man. Woo!
Yeah, they did a job.
That generation born from about 58 to 67, 68. Woo-wee! Like, man, you know, and we're seeing the last vestiges of the things that they did. You know what I'm saying? Even if we look at all the major things that went wrong, it went wrong with them. You know what I mean? As they reached maturity in the 80s, like in 84, they was the crackheads. Like, let's just be honest. That was the crack era that embraced that party, disco. All the males wanted to be Tony Montana, and all the women wanted to be Shaka Khan Jr. You know what I'm saying? So as I sit back and read this stuff, we learned this stuff from our grandparents and stuff, man. That was baby boomers. Them was our grandparents. Our parents had to survive those type of parents. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I'm 31. I'm a later millennial. You know, I was born in 89. And man, even with my girl cousins, my female cousins, even my male cousins, my brother, my uncles, man, I just seen it. You ever felt like you was looking at an out of body experience?
Oh yeah.
You just see the nonsense. I remember my first cousin, man, she got pregnant she got pregnant when we was 14, right?
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, it was like no admonishment for her. The women even embraced the father. He was like 23. They embraced him because he was 23. She was 14. So these women talking all that shit, man, they embraced him because he was giving up that dough. Real life. He would come through. He would help my auntie pay her bills. You know what I'm saying? He would give her money, but she was pregnant. Wow. Now my same cousin, she got 9 kids.
Damn, 9 kids.
9 kids. Yes, 6 of them. Listen, she got 9 kids. 6 of them live with my aunt. 2 of them live with their father, and 1 of them live with my cousin. She doesn't have none of her kids. Like, they all separated between the family now. And the women just encourage this stuff because they get checks for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they done split up the kids. Like, yeah, they done split up the kids like they done split up the kids in some type of Ponzi scheme, bro. And that's just one of my female cousins. That's just one of my female cousins. And then I want to hit y'all with something crucial, Doc. I hear you and Dr. T and Gigi talk about this all the time. All of my first cousins, all of us, it's like 9 of us that's males. We all boys. All of us was homeless before we was 14 years old. Our mothers kicked us out on the streets. All of us. All of us went to prison before. All of us went to prison before we was 21. All 9 of us. We all was living on the streets. We all went to prison. And now we all in our 30s. All of us are employed with jobs. And all of us we've been employed for years. We have jobs. But it took us to go to prison to escape from the gynocratic culture of our family.
Woo.
It's hard.
Man.
Nobody, they like a lot of the manospheres. In the manospheres, they call us Pookies and shit, but I don't think they know a lot of our stories, man. Like, you don't understand. A lot of us grew up inside of crack houses and shit. So we didn't understand socioeconomics. And I personally didn't know nobody with a job. Yeah. Like, I knew people had jobs. But I had never talked to nobody that went to work every day till I was grown.
And see, and that's why this is why we have to have a black man's voice. You see what I'm saying? This is why we got to push back against the censors and all that kind of stuff, because you got to have room for these type of stories. You see, and like I said, you know, years ago, people didn't want to hear this. Now, you would get some of it in rap or what have you, and you get brothers talking to themselves, you know, on corners or what have you, you know what I mean, outside of the mainstream or whatever, man. But it just was not, we didn't get the full range of the stories and even the complexity. So what G. Serotonin is telling us, he's a survivor. He's a survivor. And you got a lot of guys who survived it, you know what I mean? And they were able to triumph in their own way through much difficulty here. I know it wasn't easy. I know that, you're going through prison.
No, seriously, Doc. It was like, man, I remember, this is a memory of my life, man, that I rehash it at least once a week, man. I go over this memory and damn near shed tears, man. When I was 13 years old, my goddad had gave me $40, right?
Yeah.
You know, my goddad, rest in peace, Mr. Bill, man, he had gave me $40. And he was like, hey, Cave, man, don't tell your mama you got this money. You know, he said, don't tell your mama you got this money. You know, this is for you when you go to school, you know, so you can have something to eat at lunch, you know, go get your hair cut. You know what I mean? He was my godfather. He was trying to look out for me, right? And my little brother, being a little tattletale, went and told mama that Mr. Bill had gave me some money.
Oh my!
And you know, I love my mother, and this is not me slandering her, man. This ain't me making no story up. But she came. This is my first time I ever stood up to my mother, man. She came, and it was down here. I was kicked out a couple months later after that. You know what I'm saying? Once she couldn't beat me up and bully me no more, she kicked me out. You know what I mean? So my mom came up and she was like, give me that money. And I was like, I don't got no money. And she punched me dead in my face like I was a stranger. You know what I mean? Busted my nose open. And my aunt came upstairs and she hit me again. And I just started crying like, man, you like, Mom, I could hurt you. I'm just not fighting you back. Like, why is you hitting me in my face? And my aunt was telling her, like, stop hitting that boy like that. And she hit me again, like, give me that motherfucking money. Woo, woo, woo. And then my aunt was like, I just bowed my head down and gave it to her. You know what I'm saying? And it was something in me in that moment that was like, man, I got to get the fuck up out of here. I was only 13, though. I was only in the 7th grade. And I walked out, and then a couple months later, you know, they was drunk and partying and doing that shit again. And I just put my shoes on and walked out the door, man. Like, I asked them, like, damn, Mom, like, why is it every night? It's like Tuesday night. And she told me in my face, said, motherfucker, if you don't like my rules, get the fuck out my house. You know what I'm saying? And I just decided to leave, though. I felt like I knew my mama loved me, but I felt like it wasn't I didn't have a home. You know what I mean? I didn't know what to feel like. You know, in hindsight, I'm 31 years old now, but I was only 12 and 13 back then. Like, and then even over the years, like, I had went into the system and the foster homes. The first time I ever got locked up is because I didn't have nowhere to sleep at night because my mom had kicked me out. And in the system, they didn't have nobody wanted no 5'9", 180-pound, 13-year-old black boy walking around their house.
Wow.
So the system couldn't find a foster home for me, so they just locked me in the youth reform school. You know what I mean? So that was my first time, and you know, it was shocking. Like, I grew up in the hood too, but you know, it's shocking because even though they call it reform school, it's jail.
Yeah.
So the kids there, when you're there with the 17-year-olds, they hardened already. So it start putting you into a wolf mentality. Like, okay, I got to get with the pack.
Wow.
I see how this gonna go now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to be no victim. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to be preyed upon. So you already know how that goes. Gang since potty train. So we from the projects, we already knew how to survive in that rat pack mentality because we grew up in the projects already. So, and I remember, you know, I just remember all the shit we went through, and I didn't want to blame my mother. You know, I went through the pro-black phase, Nation of Islam, you know, because I love Malcolm X. I think every black man in the world loved Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? So I love Malcolm. I love Malcolm, man. I started reading the Garveyite literature. I started reading Paul Robeson, and I started reading some of the Nkrumah's work. I started reading Joe. I just started educating myself, man. And I knew I didn't know it consciously because now I'm just having enough knowledge to articulate thoughts.
I got you.
But I knew even when I would talk to other brothers, it was just like we were stuck. Now go ahead. I see.
Hold that thought, brothers. We got a G with the PhD in the house. Before I get the G, you guys, y'all hit the Cash App. Cash App, $ BMI 3000, PayPal, Ronald B. Neal, PayPal, Ronald B. Neal, Cash App, $ BMI 3000. If y'all like this content, support it. We got the G with the PhD in the house. What's happening, man?
What's good with you, Ron? What's good with you, bro? How you doing, bro?
I'm well, man. It's good to see you, man. Good to have you up here, man. Talk to us, brother.
Dr. Neal, man, all I can say is I've been paying attention to what's going on. I haven't done a show in about a week, but, you know, I've seen a lot of things, and, you know, this canceling culture is insidious. You know, it's censorship so that you don't get critique. That's all that is, you know, and black men have been quiet long enough. We've been stigmatized. We've been berated. We've been caricaturized. Now it's time for us to speak our piece. You know, karma's I ain't gonna say what it is, but you know what it is. You know, it's what they call a female dog. You know, but you know, you can't continue to berate people and stigmatize people consistently, and then you don't think that boomerang is going to come back to you. At some point, that pendulum has got to swing in the other direction. And so, I just, all I know is the topic of your show. I've been listening here and there. I've been dabbling in and out of the show. Okay. And man, it's hard out here for us. And you're right, man. Our lives are on different trajectories, man. Black women have a totally different experience than we do. And unfortunately, we're not partnered up with the state. We don't have Section 8 programs to aid us, AFDC programs to aid us. We don't have food stamps and EBT cards. Some of us do, but I mean, the vast majority of us don't. A lot of us have criminal records, because of this drug war that they put into place. A lot of the offenders are non-violent offenders, so you can call us what you want, Pookies, Ray Rays, but that's part of the system. And if you were able to avoid the snares of the system, we're good for you. But just understand that the system, since the 60s, man, it's been doing a hell of a thing, man, to try to keep us off track. And they've done a dang on good job, man. They've done a hell of a job. And so now it's time for us to speak our piece, man, and let these people know, man, we're not happy with the conditions. We're not happy with the politics. We're not happy with the tokenism. We're not happy with any of the things that's going on, man. We got to have our voice. And, you got these women, man, trying to shut it down, saying that we're invoking and, inciting violence against women, man. Like, hey, they don't want to start getting to the empirical data, man, on how this actually and really and truly works.
What it is, DG, is they don't want us to tell the truth about their real character, man.
Oh, no, man. Look, this is what I say from day one, man. There's no perfect man. There's no perfect woman. However, when you start to characterize one segment of the Black population as the source, the origin for all of the pathology in the Black community, then that's when you got an issue. That's when you got a problem. Because Black women are just as violent in their own unique ways as Black men.
No, they're more violent.
They're violent to Black children. They're violent to their intimate partners. They're violent to their parents. They're violent to each other. Okay? So, I mean, this idea that, the only pathology that has any source in the Black community is a Black male source is ridiculous. But this is how we get typecast. Sexists, sexual abusers, and physical intimate partner abusers. And it's the common narrative, and it fits right into the narrative that these white supremacists want to label us as. And it's unfortunate.
Hey, go ahead, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, hit me up, bro.
Okay. This is just my experience, man. Most of the sexual encounters I had as a child was initiated by the girls. Like, I didn't know, like, when I lost my virginity, I was 12 and she was 16. Like, I didn't know what was really going on. I knew once she poured that thing out, you know what I mean? But I wasn't even thinking about sex. I knew what sex was and all that, but I wasn't thinking about actually having sex. It was a female that initiated to me. I remember even my little girl cousins, when we was little, they would try to hump on us. And we would just hump back because, we was excited and we didn't understand that that's our cousin. But 9 times out of 10, the sexual contact was initiated by the girls.
Yeah. So, when I was a youngster, man, we go to, so it was I grew up in the 70s. Okay. I was born in 71. And so, by the time I was, a young lad in the 80s, back when the drive-through theaters was still showing, you go into the back seat, you partner up with your neighbors. Can he come? Can they come? And so you go with your neighbors, man. You go to the drive-in theaters, man. Little girls playing in your pants.
What's up?
I'm just, hey, that's what it was
so
like.
How did they switch this sexual abuse stigma to us?
Well, that's feminism's work.
I mean,
and look, I'm not going to say
he's right.
I'm not going to say that men don't do things like this, but also we have to contend with the fact that girls and women also do these things. Okay, that's the issue. See, black men aren't trying to shovel their dirt under the carpet, you know, and shovel the dirt and then pile it up under the carpet. See, we expose our dirty laundry, but see, they don't want their dirty laundry exposed. And the only reason they're able to get it off is because most black men still carry this chivalric attitude around with them. They don't want to harm or to hurt in general, you know, black women. They don't want to do it. But at this point, hey, it's like your boy Sylvester Stallone said, man, in that movie a long time ago. You know what the name of the movie is, man. You drew first blood. You drew first blood. You tore the contract up. You broke the contract. And so therefore, it's up for us to start exercising, like Ronald Neal would say, Dr. Neal, some BMI, some BMA on this BMM, this black male media. And they want to shut it down, but it ain't going nowhere. And you don't need permission to speak. You don't need permission to speak, bruh. They want you to, you know, genuflect and, you know, put the gloves on when you speak. Man, it's over with for that. You said you want equality. You said that you want to be a social and political equal in the public sphere. So therefore, you got to contend with what we have to say. Period. All of this, you know, like pedestalizing, you know, infantilizing, all that's over with. That's done. Now it's time to get to the truth. And the truth, you know what they say about the truth. It'll set you free.
And see, what I love right now, man, is that, you know, and I started with Kevin, because Kevin is just one person and everything. And, you know, all over YouTube, especially black YouTube, people are talking about this, you know, woman who, you know, put out this petition with change.org and everything like that. But what's interesting is that since she put out a petition, the brothers have responded. So you have brothers who have responded by putting out a petition against particular female YouTubers, you know, and other people saying that their content is hateful towards men. Their content puts men's lives at jeopardy and everything like that. And I only cite that to say is that, you know, we have brothers out here who are pushing back. They are not allowing the shaming. They are not allowing the guilting. They are not allowing chivalry to prevent them from speaking truth as they see it and talking about the world as it is and everything like that. And I think that's a part of a very, very important shift that we've seen, you know, over the last few years across social media. So increasingly, the brothers are pushing back. That, you know, you can't. Here's the thing. So, you know, being called a misogynist doesn't have the type of gravity that it did 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? If somebody's saying that you're sexist or even homophobic, you know what I mean? They throw the trans stuff at you and all that kind of stuff. And I see that, you know, increasingly that people are not allowing those things to keep them from calling things as they are. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. And look, they want us to operate under business as usual, which is keep your mouth shut, be tight-lipped, don't rock the boat, keep everything you know, rosy and smooth. No, because right now you done stepped over dead men's bodies and made millions of dollars. See, we can't lay down on that. No, we can't lay down on that. And you got women out here, man, admitting that, you know, I used to drug and slap men upside their heads, and then they get to go and talk to representatives and act as if, you know, they're an advocate for violence against women. Like, hold on, if you're gonna stop violence against women, you have to stop violence by women. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And right now you got platforms like the whole academic industry right now is set up in such a way as to berate, characterize, and stigmatize black men. Present us as a problem. So you've been doing this for 60 plus years, and you expected for us to just lie down, sit down, shut up, and not say anything forever like we a dunce in the corner? Come on, man. No, it's over with for that. You got men who are too intelligent. At some point, men were going to realize, hey, I done had all I can stand. I can't stand no more of this. It's over. It's a wrap.
That's it. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, as some of you guys, and it's an extreme situation, You know, you either seen it, you might have been to prison, you heard about it in jail, whatever, man. You got people who have been, you have a man who's been abused and brutalized, you know, for a long period of time, and that man, he reaches a point where he snaps. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And the dude is like, you know what? You ain't finna whoop my butt, or you ain't gonna take my butt, or whatever. How you want to frame it? You ain't gonna do this anymore. And I'm willing to die, you know, if that's what it means. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. You have brothers, people that they would just say, I'm just gonna put everything on the line because I'm just gonna die fighting. Period. I'm just gonna die because this is inhuman. This is demoralizing and all that. And I think that's where we are right now, man. We are at a point, you know, it's kind of like bullies. It's bullies, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember, you know, when I was in middle school at the time, man, and I had the dude, you know, used to bully me and everything and flick at the back of my ear and stuff like that. And this guy was, you know, he was a guy used to lift weights and all that kind of stuff. And then one day, man, I just snapped and I just went on him and I just wore his behind. I threw him on the table. Next thing I know, we were in indoor suspension. But I tell you what, and we was there for a whole week. And that Negro did not mess with me again after that.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that's what it has to take. And I think that's what we are.
That's what we are, man.
Yeah, that's all we do. All we're doing, man, is standing up for ourselves and not keeping quiet. And that's what's been the problem. And like I said, when it came to the Charles Tyler show, right?
Yeah.
There were so many people, man. That man had helped so many people get their passports and go overseas. That soon when that man passed away, there have been YouTubers, man, feminism, man, and all types of stuff cheering for that man's death. But guess what? You know how many channels came out multiplying and encouraging brothers getting their passports, brothers, man, to stop dating these toxic women, man, to focus on themselves, focus on their money. Now it multiplied. Now you can't stop the cancer once it started. Come on.
Yeah, we metastasize. You know, we're metastasizing. And look, we have opinions. We have thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, and so those thoughts need to be expressed in the public sphere. And all of these cupcakes, all of these social justice warriors, all of these corporate tokens, all of these people accepting the dole, you know what I'm saying, for putting forth a certain kind of viewpoint. We're here to check that because we have the antidote to that. We have reality to deal with. It's not a narrative. It's not ideology. We're dealing with facts and the phenomenological experiences of Black men. And that's the story that hasn't been told. It used to be told, but now it's all about recognition and visibility at any cost. It's one thing to talk your talking points, but it's another thing to step over dead Black men's corpses in order to get paid, to get a check, a Cadillac check, a Warner Brother check. You understand what I'm saying? That's a cold business right there. Now, you want to go that cold? We can get cold. And see, we ain't got mad yet. This ain't Boko Haram right now. You don't want us to get crazy up in this joint because you know Black men can go wild. They call us wild. They say we super predators. We ain't went there yet.
They haven't seen that.
They ain't seen that yet.
No,
they don't want to see Haram. They don't want to see that. Jihad.
They don't want to see that side of us, man. They don't want to see that side of us, man. No, they don't. No, they don't.
And look, we're the most progressive group of men in the United States.
There you go.
But we get typecast as the most regressive men in the United States. When it comes to what we say women should be allowed to do, we like, okay, go ahead, get your job, get your work. I mean, from the inception, all the way back to Frederick Douglass supporting the suffragette movement. And then what they do, they turn their back on Frederick Douglass and start using racist language and start, appealing to the Klan in order to say that these people don't deserve to vote before us, your mothers, your daughters, and your sisters.
That's right.
Okay, and then, here come the civil rights movement, and then everything is going on. We got this Black unity, and all of a sudden, that 20 pieces of silver came in real handy, didn't it? All of a sudden, them Great Society programs kicked in. That man got to get out of the house. That woman, like your boy Jason Whitlock said, licked her finger, stuck it in the air, saw it wasn't moving in Black men's direction, and so they said, "The hell with him." And then we supposed to just sit back, and now it's all about empowerment of Black women. Hey man, it's too many Cersei Lannisters out here, man.
Too many.
It's too many.
There's a lot of them.
It's too many, man.
Too many.
Yeah, you got guys from baby channels, man, to huge channels out here, man. You even got guys, man, Patreons is just blowing up out here, though, man. It's too many guys out here waking up, from the red pill community to the MGTOWs, man, from the foreign travel brothers, man. Guys is actually getting out here and accepting female nature for what it really is, brother.
And all of this has been contrived by these Yurugus, man. You know, I did a show on the Yurugu, right? It's all been crafted, devised, constructed by a group of people who got a plan, diabolical plan. Manage women through bureaucracies, manage black men through the carceral state.
That's it.
You understand what I'm saying? Send us to prison, put them on paternalistic aid programs where they got to check in every month, every quarter to their, you know, white overseers, so they can tell them how they supposed to spend their money and what kind of activities they're supposed to be engaged in. And we think this is some sort of natural ecology, that like our relationships come out of some natural, you know, community-based, you know, phenomenon. No, man, this is all contrived.
Nope. Like, as I said the other night, they colonized. This is colonialism at its finest. That's what it is. We are dealing with this, that the American gendered colonialism and all that kind of stuff. And it is not. We know this. None of this stuff is natural. This ain't natural. This is socially engineered. You know, in Darwinian terms, they talk about natural selection. No, this is unnatural selection. That's what this is.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And we supposed to sit back. We supposed to sit back and watch it all unfold. So you take black male pain and you capitalize off of it for neoliberal advancement, man. That's sick, man. It's pathological. It's sinister. It's diabolical.
That's what it is.
It's selfish. It's narcissistic.
That's it.
You can't step over dead black men's bodies and get paid. Not no more.
Not no more.
Not no more. You ain't stepping over dead black men's bodies. I don't care if he smoked dope. I don't care if he's the Pope. You ain't stepping over a dead black man's body and getting paid, man.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
And that's what they believe. That's what they believe, man. This is exactly what they believe.
Yeah, and that's why we are warranted. You know, that's why I brush this cancel stuff off, because it's, as I said when I started the stream, man, it's a part of the idiocracy in this country. We have an idiocracy. We got people who are fragile, who are timid, who are weak, who are comfortable, who live in bubbles, you know, and don't want to deal with reality and run away from it and suppress anything that gives them any you know, kind of discomfort. You know what I'm saying? And that has heinous consequences for the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? And these are infantilized people, and we have too many infantilized populations, you know, in this society. Hell, I'm gonna say black women represent one infantilized group. Then you got white women; they're infantilized too, and we have to move these people out of the state, this world of infancy and make believe and everything, and deal with, you know, the real world as we deal with it, and as the real world presents itself to everybody else. You know what I mean? Because this, you know, because these lies that we put out here all the time are detrimental to our health. You know, this stuff gets us killed, literally.
But
listen, brothers, it's after the 2-hour mark, and I didn't intend on going this long, but I wanted to come out here and talk about cancel culture and talk about, you know, Kevin Samuels and everything. And I appreciate all you brothers who've been listening and been with the stream. And thank you, Mr. GG Zero Money and G with the PhD, man. You know, this is my second time out doing this, and I just wanted to reach out and vibe with the people here, you know, in this sphere, and you know, I'm going to be doing more of this, man. So I look forward to it, and I just, you know, want you all to look out, you know, for more streams and everything. Y'all support G with the PhD. Y'all know the man. Y'all check him out on his YouTube channel. I'm gonna give you all the last parting words before I close out. So GG Money Zero, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you guys. I want to appreciate you. Thank you for bringing me on the stream. I got another channel myself though. It's called Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement. You know, it's a baby channel, but go ahead and check it out. You know, it's just about, you know, daily advice, you know, because, hey, you know, a lot of guys out here don't have a lot of guys to either talk to, get daily advice from, just on things in general, women, female nature, passports, though, right? And also investing. You know, yes, I'm a real estate investor, and I teach my students and others how to buy real estate with no money out of pocket, no cash, and no credit. So, but anyway, you guys, though, thank you so much. And you guys, if you guys out here listening, get your passports, brothers, okay? You don't have to go through this crap, all right? And invest your money, man. If it's not in real estate, invest it in something that makes sense, okay? Thank you for bringing me to the show, man. And also show Kevin Samuels some support, too, for this movement that we're doing also, because this man got 1 million subscribers. That says a lot right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Peace
yes,
out,
sir.
brother.
Thank you, sir. G with the PhD.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Man, I just want to remind brothers, I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. I was gonna go on tonight, man. I decided to go ahead and turn it in, but I'm gonna come on tomorrow, man. I'm running hard for I'm going 21 days straight. I ain't gonna take a day off when I get on, you know, tomorrow. I'm going hard. And some of the things I'm gonna say are gonna be offensive. But guess what? You gotta accept offensive speech in the state that proclaims that it's a free speech, you know, a society. You gotta accept it. Okay, it is what it is. So, you know, I'm not afraid to speak. And you remember, black men, you don't need permission to speak. And if somebody gets upset, you know what you tell them? Like Clark Gable in the movie Casablanca. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Holla at you, Ron.
See you, man. Bro. Take care, right, man. Peace out. Glad you were here. All right, brothers. Glad you were here tonight, man. In this thread, the Sunday night edition. We're gonna do more of this, man. You guys continue to support the channel and look for more uploads as they're disseminated here on my channel and everything. I appreciate you guys. Again, y'all support Cash App, $BMI 3000, PayPal, Ronald B. Neal. I'm out of here, man. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you on the